Great piece, great piece, great piece. So the news is it's going like every day. There's no stop of media coverage. Um, there's an active shooter right now in a university in Florida. You would think with the amount of police presence that we have in each of these states, 51 states, right? Stripes, Union, 51 stars. You would think with the amount of space technology that we have, with the amount of mineral resource and investments that we have, that we will be able to stop active shooters, wherever capacity it may be, an international threat, a national threat, a domestic threat, whatever it may be, whatever it may be. The sheriff's office is not doing enough to communicate with Space Forces because he feels like his job is going to be in jeopardy. They want to do things the old-fashioned way. They want to get in a high-speed chase with the active shooters. They want to police the campuses. You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. All you have to do is have Space Force to evacuate the premises. Put a neutral target over the assailant, PSYOP, weapon, and raise the person's blood pressure. Like, they want to get in shootouts while a student's sitting at the desk. Those are the things they want to do. And, I'm not for it. I'm not for it because, we keep saying the same thing over and over and over. And, like, they're in on this whole scheme of putting fear into the public, because if people feel like there's always going to be school shootings, people are never going to find refuge in the fact that they can go walk to their local campus, sit in a classroom with the students, and just kind of be a passerby or a viewer, a supporter, a donor, a fundraiser, you know what I mean? Like an associate of the campus, an alumni. You don't want to go to these places and they're heavily policed. You don't want to do that because at that time it's just for show. It's just for show. Because when people start to see there's a heavy police presence in like all of these places, when they start to see that, what's going to happen is they're going to feel like, well, since he has a gun, I can go and get my gun license, Like, I look at, the community that I'm in, right? And it's like, it's so unsafe because anybody can have a mental breakdown at one moment and start shooting unconsciously at people, innocent or not innocent, right? Like I look at my community and you could hear like, as of the last couple years, right? You can hear people in the area who probably just moved here, who wasn't here 15 years ago when everything was kind of peaceful, right? Now you're starting to hear gunshots everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, and then Duggan, because I'm just using him as an example because, all of these sheriff offices, they're middle-aged white men, right? And not to use that as a crux or an excuse, but Kenyan forces, whether it be special op, domestic detainment, wherever it may be, right? They don't have white men in their forces. They don't have these men coming to their countries saying, what, we'll pay for this or we'll pay for that just to police your people. They won't go for it because you've never seen it in modern history. This this thing where, like, you know, you have Duggan and he's like, you know, studies saying that, you know, the community is safe. Well, here's an example. We just saw it in Florida, a shooting. The communities across America are not safe. They're not. Great peace, Yakoki.